one of the things that makes the web powerful is that you can test and compare different creative executions of a message. All campaigns brag that they tested tens of thousands of different executions.
Yeah, sometimes that's a little bit of an exaggeration. And on a state and local level, even for our statewide races, we can't do that. It's just not in the resources, and you need enough data back, just like in a regular.
You need enough traffic back to see
Right.
what people are doing.
Like on a presidential level, sure, you could do that. But on a state level or local level, when you're serving, 1,000 impressions to each different ad variation, you can't, that's not really enough to tell. That's not even like $10.
How does that work? I mean, how do you, so say I've got 3 different ads, executions, and so I want to test those. Like, how do I, what actually happens when I test those? Let's say I'm going to the same target with 3 different creatives.
Well, then you would just put it all in one ad group, and in digital advertising we use either through Google or Twitter, one of their platforms, or on an off-platform basis like an ad server, such as DCM or Seismic. Then you can get kind of real-time results back and see what's working the best. Usually on some pre-roll ads you'll get within a percentage point difference, but on search copy the percentage difference could be pretty large. So if you had 3 different search ads or 3 different display ads, usually one will be generating more conversions.
Conversion could mean clicking on the ad, or you can measure time the mouse spends over the ad, or
conversions typically mean what people do after they've been to the website. So we're in the early stages of the campaign, we're trying to get donations and email signups. Because email signups then lead to donations potentially. So we will kind of track how many people have signed up from an ad, what part of the buy is doing better for that sort of stuff, and then what the cost for conversion is. And a lot of digital media people are obsessed with tracking, and I'd say that has been overdone. Like people will track, oh, I got 2 conversions from this ad, and somebody clicked and spent 2 seconds more on this site than another ad, and that ad's better. I think that kind of minutia is a little bit overplayed.
Yeah, we've heard that before in our interviews, is that at some point don't get bogged down in the minutia of the data.
I mean, it's important to know where your ads are, who you're reaching, but there's a certain point where it's not beneficial.
You talked about email, good old-fashioned email, which was here before social media.
Yeah.
And isn't in fact email one of the most powerful digital political tools there is?
It is, and that's why we spend so much money trying to get more email signups and to build our list.
That's the holy grail, is to get as many email addresses as possible.
Yes and no. Some email addresses, they're not all created the same. And one of the things we're finding out is people on Facebook, we can run these conversion campaigns and pay 50 cents on the dollar to get an email sign up, but people just aren't donating money from those. So, how much are you willing to pay for a higher value email? And that's kind of where the sweet spot.
So you go and buy email addresses, but you don't really know if they're going to pay off.
We're not buying email addresses, we're kind of running conversion campaigns, like sign up to send President Trump a birthday card, or...
So you've got a Facebook person, and you're trying to kick them up to the email level.
Yeah.
With a marketing campaign.
Right, and sometimes it's gimmicky, sometimes it's like sign this petition for the Supreme Court, or, put term limits on Congress, all sorts of stuff. Depending on what your state likes, then you kind of track them across time to see if they're donating, and if they're not, what happened, why not, and where'd you get those emails, because they're not valuable.
So we've seen in some campaigns, especially presidential campaigns, where there are big events,
Mhm.
you know, Hillary events, Bernie Sanders events, Trump events, that this is a key time to collect email addresses because they will require, in order for you to get a pass,
Mhm.
that you enter your email address and then opt in to getting further communications.
Yeah, the Obama campaign, the first go around, was really the first people to do this successfully. And you know, when they talk so much about his digital advertising campaign, that's mostly what they're talking about.
Was it good old-fashioned email?
Yeah, but you know, if you're willing to go to an event, then you're most likely willing to vote. And if you're,
donate.
yeah. So I mean, you could donate right then and there, or you could donate, you know, when you got home. Some point in time, you're willing to do that. So getting those people, and especially he was successful because he had so many people at his event, and he started early on. A lot of people just want people at their event. They, you know, consider it a win. They don't get all the email addresses. They don't have a follow-up campaign, and it's just like in real life. So, you know, you say thank you to your friend for those lovely flowers. You know, really appreciate it. It kind of creates a two-way thing rather than like, okay, see ya. Like, thanks for nothing. Like, you know, it's the same everywhere. Like, the communication has to be somewhat reciprocal.
I thought it was cool that somehow the Obama people figured out that when you made the first ask for money to an email person, that you asked for $3.
Mm-hmm.
You know, not 5, not 2, but $3.
Mm-hmm. One thing we figured out in Romney 1, that campaign, Romney 2007, was you don't want to ask too much from your supporters.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, $3, people aren't going to give $3, they're going to give 5. They're going to make that a recurring donation. But don't ask for too much.
250.
Right. I want
Don't leave those
2,000
categories
right
off
now.
the form.
Yeah. And especially, you know, some of these people, especially for the Obama campaign, were millennials. Can't necessarily afford the $250 reoccurring donation like other
Mm-hmm.
folks can. But I think that's, you know, such a big part of it. The small dollar donors and then not overlooking